Oh, hello and welcome back to the Heroes of the Storm North America Open. This is the July Open, and we're in the middle of a best-of-3 between Turmoil Syndicate and Power Raynors.
Yes, and Power Raynors did have the power of Raynor last game, but unfortunately it was not enough to take the game, and Turmoil Syndicate is up 1-0 so far. They're already in the draft, though. They're raring to play again.
As always, so we'll hop right over to that, and I love what we're seeing from Power Raynors, as they're going to ban out the Zeratul.
They do not want to be caught in that void prison anymore, and I can't say that I blame them.
No, I can't blame that at all, but it does open up Turmoil Syndicate to pick up Uther and Tyrande, who we've seen them use to such great success regardless of the Zeratul.
Yeah, I think if there's anything that we could call a signature so far from Turmoil Syndicate, it would be Tyrande and Uther playing together, and so far it has worked very well for them. Johanna Jaina, though, not a composition to be sneered at. Certainly very, very strong, those two blondies together. And we'll see now, as we see the next ban coming out of Power Raynors, who else they would rather not see Turmoil Syndicate using in this game.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them ban out the Anubarak. I believe that was who they were playing the last one, correct? Or were they playing the Muradin? Whatever tank they were playing.
They had the Anubarak as their tank.
Okay.
And they're going to ban out the Butcher.
That is interesting. I figured they would want to try to limit the amount of stuns that Turmoil Syndicate could land as much as possible because obviously they've used them to such great success, but they're at least not wanting to deal with any sort of melee assassin. They can feel pretty comfortable knowing that neither Kerrigan nor Illidan will come out here from Turmoil, so they're mainly worried about the Butcher and Zeratul. But Turmoil are going to say, we've already got our support. We know that you don't have yours, so now you can't pick Rhaegar or Uther.
Right, and they've already been greedy and taken two, so the pool is even more lessened in terms of supports. So the thing is, though, Power Raynors now probably doesn't have to feel too much pressure to worry about grabbing a support, but in fact they will. They're not going to show their hand. They want to leave that last pick open to interpretation. They're going to take Malfurion, who we know they like because they tried it last game. It didn't work out quite as well for them, but maybe this time with a stronger tank in Muradin, they're going to be able to hide him behind that front line and use him to greater effect.
Yeah, Muradin and Johanna, they have such a strong front line.
Right.
They're really relying on Jaina for damage, so we'll see who they can pick up here to supplement that, as you're going to need to be able to deal damage to those immortals because you really want to make sure that they are going to be pushing for you, and that requires you to take your opponents down in the middle first.
We do see Vala joining a new Barak on the side of Turmoil Syndicate, so she's going to bear she and Nazebo are going to be really the ones who are the game changers in terms of damage. Tyrande can also join them and do a fair amount of damage on her own and aid them in doing so as well. So there's a lot of damage and a lot of sustainability, and like you mentioned, a lot of stun coming out of Turmoil Syndicate, who is going, Power Raynors, though, is going to answer by adding Tychus. Now, we haven't mentioned, by the way, that all of this is on the new battleground, Battlefield of Eternity, which has its own set of unique use cases for all of these heroes. Is there anything that stands out to you, Gilly, that these particular compositions are going to be really great at doing on this particular battleground?
Well, when you're going up into fighting those immortals in the middle of the battleground, you really want to be able to throw consistent damage on their immortal whenever possible. So Turmoil Syndicate's going to really have that nicely with Nazebo, but especially Vala too. And then on top of that, Tyrande can throw down the Hunter's Mark to supplement that too. So they've got a lot of that as well. But similarly, Power Raynors do have a lot of damage from Jaina and Tychus that they can do. I think what we're going to probably see is Power Raynors looking to defend their immortal first, try to push off Turmoil Syndicate because they do have that double warrior. So they can be really in their face, push them away, and then go throw some damage on their opponent's immortal once they've pushed Turmoil Syndicate out of the middle arena.
That's definitely true. I'm also thinking about the importance of mercenaries on this map and how much of a game changer those can be if your opponents are not paying close attention and if you can manage to grab them without taking too many people out of the main engagements or out of the immortal phases. So I would say that some of these people that we know can do some great mercenary work, maybe Nazebo, Of course, Tychus, especially if he's using his Draken laser drill, we may see them kind of roaming away to grab some mercenaries really quickly. And when everyone else is distracted, that can be a huge part of this battleground as well.
Yeah, I'm actually wondering whether Tychus will pick up the laser drill or if he'll get the Odin. And I think it'll just come down to whether they're really looking to maybe use it to supplement, it's pretty easy to get away from Odin, right? So I think it's whether they'll be trying to use it for defense, or maybe if they want to try to have the offensive laser drill. Both are kind of good for defense as well as offense. It's just a matter of being able to use it in the correct location so that your opponents can't just easily get away from the Odin or the laser drill.
Yeah, certainly both would be totally reasonable on this map, and it also depends kind of on how comfortable Power Raynors are feeling at this point, whether they feel like having something stationary in the middle of a fight is going to do more good to them than being able to do damage and potentially still, move out of the way. We'll see, because this battleground is really unique in terms of its size, in terms of the many corridors that you can go, and in terms of the many things you can use in order to propel your team ahead. So with that said, should we introduce the teams, Gilly?
Let's do it. Once again, dancing around the blue core, we have Scarred playing Johanna, Taoism on Malfurion, Six this time playing Muradin, Eldinesh on Tychus, and Captain Drunkbear playing Jaina.
And this time we will have Turmoil Syndicate in red. Tantro will be on Anubarak. Real Beef will play Uther. Trut will play Nazebo. Oddish will take Tyrande. And Coda will be on Vala.
All right, we're loading in. Remember, this battleground is 2 lanes, guys. There is a little bit of interesting stuff happening in the middle where there's a gate toward the core as well as a tower and well. But for the most part, it's a 2-lane battleground with a huge area in mid that when the objective starts, Immortals will come down, and if you can take out your opponent's Immortal before yours is taken out, he will push down the strongest lane on your opponent's side. That being said, oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
I was just going to say, that being said, in the middle, some of those fights can be really difficult as there's a lot of opportunity for stealth, which is exactly where Tantro and Oddish came from in order to be able to pick up a quick takedown on Malfurion.
Right. I think we're already seeing Turmoil Syndicate pay homage to the fact that vision on this map is also very important. We saw the Sentinel from Tyrande being sent down across the middle lane, making sure that no one was lying in wait for them while they were lying in wait for their opponents. They were rewarded for that consideration with 1 takedown already, as we're only a minute into this game.
And now a Lunar Flare is going to go down on 6, but he's able to Dwarf Toss out, and a great Entangling Roots is going to zone everyone from trying to go in and engage underneath those towers. So no takedown quite yet, and very, very passive laning right now coming out of Power Raynors.
Yeah, I mean, would you request anything else of them at this point in the game, Gilly? We're really, both teams are looking to kind of soak experience and be healthy and ready for the Immortal phase, right?
No, if you see your opponents running a gang squad, the best thing you can do is just stay back, and that is not what Captain Drunkbear is doing now.
No.
Real Beef and Oddish are going to come in. A Great Condemn, though, is going to try to stop the opponents from being able to take out Jaina, and they will be able to do so. So it's exactly what you want to do, is just play passively, soak, and then just try not to lose your heroes, as that's the experience that you'll just be giving to your opponents.
Johanna with her typical bravery running right into a score of Turmoil Syndicate members, being able to run back out. And it looks like she's going to be after Tantro now. The tank for them is a little bit out of position, but is going to be able to trap Taoism in a zombie wall. He is going to go down, and things are turning in the way of Turmoil Syndicate as Scarred also gets very low. They're really going to push people out of this Immortal area. Yeah,
like I mentioned, Power Raynors are just trying to defend their Immortal. They know their opponents can do more damage, at least at this juncture, very quickly than they can. So they were just trying to defend it. They did lose their healer, though, so that's causing some problems. But he is back. Short respawn timers mean that they are going to be able to come back, but instead, it looks like they're going back into lanes for a bit. They need level 4. They really want to catch back up in talents before they get into another engagement around these Immortals.
And just in case you aren't familiar with this map, it is one of the newest battlegrounds for Heroes of the Storm. The important thing is to make sure that your Immortal is the one that survives and that it has lots of health when it does survive. You can see that we have half for the Heavens side down on that Immortal. That means that even if that Immortal were to win this fight, you would only have half the shields as it goes and tries to do work in lane for its team.
And because it's halfway down, Power Raynors are on the back foot. They were sitting here defending, and all this time Nazeebo was sitting in lane getting experience. Now they're nearly a full level up, so Power Raynors need to try to do something here. They're going back into lane, and so that's at least going to be a little bit helpful. Might be a little bit before we actually see either one of these Immortals go down.
Yeah, they are locked in everlasting combat here in the middle. Oddish and Scarred are going to pay a little bit of attention to them, but the rest of Power Raynors is going to be really interested in defending their poor Immortal. They're going to move forward, and it looks like we are going to see some stuns falling down, and that is never a good thing for the stunned, if you will. Condemn's going to go down on Tantro, who's going to be a little bit squeamish about going right into the front lane. Real Beef is going to go ahead and take some of that tankiness for himself, and they are going to be rewarded by taking down Johanna. Now it looks like Power Raynors are getting a little bit low, so they are going to run, and they're going to split up a little bit. Eldinesh running behind that wall. Ooh, wow, getting almost impaled to death, but instead is going to stay alive, wiping his brow and saying, phew.
Yeah, that was really close. That Impale plus the Sentinel nearly took him out, but at the very least, Turmoil Syndicate were able to back off and go ahead and take out the remainder of their opponent's Immortal. So now, this is a full shielded Beleth that's going to be pushing for the side of the Hells, and he's going to move to, it looks like, the bottom lane. And as we see, Real Beef and Coda are already prepping the lane for that. They've taken out minions so that he can walk right up to the structures and deal as much damage as possible to these towers.
Man, that is not what you want to see when you're the Power Raynors. That whole bar of shields means that he's going to be doing a lot of really cool moves and a lot of damage on behalf of Turmoil Syndicate. And this wall is not going to survive. They're going to push right in toward that fort.
Yeah, the wall and towers are down. That's given level 7 talents to Turmoil Syndicate, as we see the beetles, more beetles coming out for a new Barak, as well as it looks like the Lunar Blaze, so increasing the range of the Lunar Flare, which we've just seen for the Tyrande as well. And now it looks like maybe Scarred is going to try to fight back a little bit, but that any damage that they're putting on heroes means that it's not going on the Immortal, and that shows. The Immortal's already taken down the fort.
Trut trying to get sneaky and take down Captain Drunkbear on Jaina up here in the top lane, but doesn't quite hit with the zombie wall, and Captain Drunkbear is going to get out of the way. That was very sneaky.
Well, now we do have level 7 talents for Power Raynors, but their opponents, since they were pushed so far forward, are already trying to pick up these Shaman here, and their Wolves, these Bruisers, as you will. But everyone realizes it from Power Raynors, so they're going to come in. They dropped a great Entangling Roots, caught Tantro momentarily, but instead we're just going to see Turmoil choose to disengage, and Power Raynors were still able to defend and pick up their Bruisers.
So now we see this spread to multiple corners of the map. The Immortals are not a concern right now, so teams are going to look to take advantages, push lanes, and there are mercenaries to be had at the top and bottom of the map, so it looks like we see Six and Captain Drunkbear looking to make sure that these siege camps go in the favor of Power Raynors. And it looks like at the bottom we will have Power Raynors taking the siege camp as well.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea. Power Raynors need to be looking at this and saying, okay, we're a level and a half ahead. It's a very real possibility. We're not going to have our heroics for a while in the next Immortal phase, and we could possibly be facing another Immortal. So we need to make our opponents choose between defending our minions, our mercenaries, or going after the Immortals. And in that time, we can then try to catch up in experience. So that's exactly what they're going to do. It looked like maybe they were going to go up, but they're having some indecision here. I thought maybe they'd go after these top sieges as well, but I think instead they really want to try to catch Trud out. They're not going to be able to do so.
Yeah, they were really looking for the takedown, like you said, and a zombie wall is going to prevent poor Six from getting back to safety. Fortunately, though, he's tanky enough, he can take a few hits and be fine. But now, it looks like Turmoil Syndicate is going to be the one to grab that siege camp. And that momentary indecision, or perhaps even greed on wanting to grab that takedown, is going to cost that strategy for Power Raynors.
Yeah, these sieges do a lot of damage if left unchecked, so that's something they're going to have to consider. And it's pushing right now, whereas their mercenaries have already been cleaned up. So poor Power Raynors do not have 10. They have sieges pushing against them in structures, and already they've lost a fort to an Immortal phase, so they really don't want to lose another Immortal phase here. They're going to engage even though they don't have their heroics. Strafe went down, they were able to heal through it, but a Starfall is slowing Six and Scarred down. They may not be able to escape. Scarred will not, neither will Six. Both tanks are down.
Yeah, and those tanks really were doing a good job of trying to be in the front line, but then the front line shifted as they're in this small area surrounded by lots of terrain, and really Turmoil Syndicate took great advantage of that by putting Tantro on the other side, kind of flanking the team and changing where the front line was. It enabled them to kind of put a vice grip on those two tanks, take them down, and then there was really no one to protect the rest of Power Raynors.
Some of the heroic abilities we saw from Turmoil Syndicate in the last battle were the Web Blast once again, as well as Divine Shield, Gargantuan, Starfall, and Stray for Vala. So this time we're seeing the Starfall instead of the Shadow Stalk. What do you think about that?
I think in that last engagement it was instrumental because there are only so many ways you can get in and out of a lot of these small areas, and when Starfall is encapsulating all of them, there's nowhere safe to go, and I think that was a real problem for Power Raynors.
Well, Power Raynors are at least trying to come back here a little bit. They've taken out Vala. They're trying to defend their Immortal. They've got their heroic abilities as well. And they might even be trying to pick up another takedown here. Oddish is very, very low. It looks like a Nubarak will be rooted and then stunned again thanks to the Immortal. And he's going to be able to get away. Eldenesh might actually get stunned here, and that is unfortunate. But a Tranquility is going to come in and heal him back up. So now they are going to be starting to work on this Immortal here. And that's something that's going to be nice for the Power Raynors, as they really need to, if not win this Immortal phase, at least take it down as much as possible so they don't have to deal with a full shielded Immortal again.
Yeah, they've already done a significant amount of damage that will help them not be in the position they were in last time. However, their Immortal is very low, and it looks like they are falling back to take care of some other business, maybe just realizing they really need to do some defense, as only Scarred is there. So now Six will join Scarred and try to take down Tantro. It looks like the rest of Power Raynors will join the fight as well.
That Ring of Frost was amazing. It's not one that we often see. It immediately took out Tyrande. So once again, Power Raynors are looking at a power play. They've got more heroes up, but whoa, Jaina gets taken out very quickly. A great burrow charge from Tantro keeps her from being able to escape. It looks like it was Laser Drill that was picked up for Tychus, as that was taken out just now, and Dwarf Toss 4-6 is going to at least momentarily ensure his safety.
Yeah, I love seeing the Draken Laser Drill. I think that's a great choice. It's going to enable them to do a little bit more zoning, potentially have some applicability for murking as well. A Nubarak is going to be very far forward and going to go down for Turmoil Syndicate, which is going to give Power Raynors the room that they need to push forward. Unfortunately, the Immortal will go to the side of Turmoil Syndicate. But like we mentioned, it's a little less strong than last time. However, certainly having enough shields to be very, very scary and dangerous. Power Raynors is going to have to make sure they defend this top lane, and to that effect, all 5 of them will go there now.
You know, I really like the double warrior composition we're seeing from Power Raynors because they are able to really control those fights in the mid, try to push off. Even if they lose one warrior in the process, they still have another one to be the front line in fights, which is really nice for them. Unfortunately, we're just seeing Turmoil Syndicate take down the Immortals so fast that it doesn't matter if they're winning those fights. They're still losing the Immortal. But most of the time it's been because Power Raynors are on the back foot when we get into the Immortal fights. They're behind a talent. They didn't have their heroic abilities last time. So maybe since they have turned around a couple of fights, maybe they can continue to do that, catch back up in experience, and then in the next Immortal fight we might see them shine.
Yeah, it's interesting, too, to think about when and how these teams are splitting up when they're not roaming as 5. When you have that dual tank composition, you can afford to have 2 little skirmishes going on, or you can absorb more damage in other places. We also have the dual support composition from Turmoil Syndicate, so really they're compensating a lot for that by the fact that they can just heal up whoever is low, or even heal up their one tank who's a little bit more squishy. And he has a lot of ability to engage and to kind of change the shape of the battle, if you will, by moving into a space that he was not expected to be in.
Yeah, that is definitely true, and because Turmoil Syndicate were able to get ahead in experience from taking down the fort, they have picked up 3 of the 4 mercenary camps on this battleground. So that means Power Raynors are going to have to play defensive for a little bit because they also don't have 13. Unfortunately, they might not get the chance. Real Beef is coming in. A lot of stuns going down on Jaina and will be able to take her out. Six getting very, very low as well, is going to have to Avatar to get away. And that's not really something you want to do, is use that as a defensive skill. So you want to be using it for all of those stuns that you get. But now a huge push coming in. Looks like for now Turmoil are more content to push than try to get set up for the next Immortal phase.
That Avatar is now going to be down for like 80 more seconds, and the Immortals are spawning in 5. So that means this Immortal phase is going to be a little bit of a handicap on behalf of Muradin. And it looks like maybe more handicap as Tychus does fall for Power Raynors, and it looks like Turmoil Syndicate is not going to let up. They're going to throw down the web wrap as well. We see roots on Anubarak and on Tyrande, but it's not going to do them much damage as they're going to continue to push forward. Now Malfurion is down, leaving Power Raynors without a healer. That's going to only encourage Turmoil Syndicate as they push, now taking down Muradin as well. That's one of the tanks. We're left only with a warrior in Johanna and Jaina as the damage dealer. Both of them had to run back to grab some health, and now they're going to look to try to defend.
You know, I have to go back to the draft just momentarily when we saw Turmoil Syndicate pick up Uther and then they banned Rhaegar. And Power Raynors were once again left with Malfurion. And while Malfurion, the Tranquility is amazing and does so much, when he's web blasted, it goes away. That's one of the few things actually that takes the Tranquility out. Like even if Malfurion were to ice block, for example, he still gets to, his Tranquility keeps going. So that's one of the few things that's been able to take this out, and that's been really nice for them. Now, it looks like Raynors are trying to just defend their Immortal. It's really difficult for them. They're 3 levels down. Their opponents have 16, but they were able to do so a little bit, at least without dying.
Absolutely, and now they're turning their attention to their Immortals. Already, poor Ilarion is halfway down in terms of health, and it looks like Turmoil Syndicate would like to make that all the way down. As they do encircle him, they're going to look to do damage, and their Immortal is actually going to be safe, as it looks like Power Raynors would prefer to defend.
Oh, look at that perfect Starfall spot. Nobody was safe from that. Everyone got slowed on the way out. So far, nobody's been taken down on Power Raynors' side. It does look like some stuns are coming up, but Tranquility is going to be dropped, and once again, it's going to save everybody. This is a good place for him to do so, because Anubarak is not really close by. Not going to throw that web blast out on him. So we're going to see Raynor start throwing damage on the Immortal just as much as possible. They're realizing now at this point they're going to lose it, and they need to take down that shield as much as they can.
Johanna is just going to back in the middle of the battle, and she will be allowed to do so. But that means that there's only 3 members of Power Raynors here to engage with 4 from Turmoil Syndicate who are pushing them back behind their wall.
Look, we're going to maybe see the... Oh, no, Zebo isn't here. A lot of times they were throwing the zombie wall around the web blast, but it doesn't matter. Strafe's going to come down. Tychus will be taken out. Johanna is going to get low, but we'll be able to stay alive. Poor Malfurion gets hit by the blood for blood as well. So taking a lot of damage here. Root's going to go down. They're trying to stop them from entering in through the middle, as there's already a keep down. They can go straight for core.
Yeah, I think maybe, you know, it's possible they forgot what this particular area on the map looked like. There are no towers around that wall, so there was nothing protecting them as they poked their faces out of that wall, and they were just poking their faces to their death. Now, looks like Turmoil Syndicate is on the core, and there's not going to be a whole lot Power Raynors can do about it, Gilly.
No, the ice block will go down, and Tyrande is getting very, very low, but as per the usual, we see them immediately leave until they can get healed back up. In this case, going to go all the way back. Jaina, meanwhile, is taken out, as is Malfurion. The laser drill trying so hard to keep members off the core. It's also doing some damage to some zombies, because why not? But now Beleth has joined in the battle, and he's still got a shield left as well. The core shield, meanwhile, is completely down.
Yeah, and what that means is he also has some really great abilities aside from just his melee attacks. Now he is going to start with those melee attacks, but he has plenty of health left, and he is going to be the one to deal the killing blow, and it looks like the Hells will triumph this time on the battlefield of eternity.
Treasure is spawning. The Hells have won. The heroes of Turmoil Syndicate can reap their rewards, and they will be victorious here in this best of 3.
Absolutely. That's the second best of 3 we've casted today, both with Turmoil Syndicate. Both of them were taken by Turmoil Syndicate, so we have a star in the making, Gilly.
Indeed we do, and I have to hand it to Oddish on that Tyrande, because that is some scary Tyrande play for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, when Tyrande has played well, she's just so... It's easy to forget about a support, right? You can kind of just... You're thinking about the big damage dealers, you're thinking about where the tank is, but it's easy to forget about someone like Tyrande that can just make these really decisive plays that in this case really helped Turmoil Syndicate come out on top.
Yeah, and the synergy from these players is amazing as well. We've seen Divine shielded strafes so that full strafes can go off and cannot be interrupted at all. We've also seen I love the web blast into
Yeah.
the zombie wall. Come on. You're
Well,
like out of the fight for so long, and then you come out, you've got members all around you, and on top of that, zombies that are like, you shall not pass. So mean.
I was gonna say just the web blast in general, and kind of the I not forced but encouraged Malfurion picks that they've done, because they know that web blast is so strong against Malfurion, and they want to play with a new Barak, and I just think that has really been a deciding factor in a lot of the engagements.
Yeah, great play all around from the Turmoil Syndicate. We are going to take a break. I'm not sure where we will be moving next, guys, or what best of 3 we'll be casting, but it will be a best of 3, as we've got several left for you today. So hang out, listen to some Heroes music, get a snack, get a drink, and when we come back, more Heroes for you.